Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be recreating a makeup look that I wore in my Sephora wish list and recommendations video. A lot of you liked the makeup in that video and I figured I would recreate it for you because I also loved it and I just wanted to do it again today. A lot of the products I'm using are from Sephora, and when this video goes up, I'm not sure when that will be. The Sephora Holiday Savings Event should be going on, so I figured I would recreate that look. I have tons of my very favorite things here, and let's get into it. If you are new, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty and makeup content on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I hope you'll subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the makeup. All right, I pulled out all of my products that I used in that video, and I'm going to do it exactly like I did it because I love how it turned out. I did use primer. I actually used 2 primers. Totally unnecessary. I just wanted to do it, so I did. And these are the 2 that I used. So the Makeup Forever Redness Corrector and the Rare Beauty Pore Blurring Primer. That was actually the first time I've combined these 2 together. I've used them a bunch on their own, but not combined. And I love how it turned out. I didn't get any pilling or anything weird. So I'm gonna do that again today. I've really been loving this one from Makeup Forever. It just kind of lightly evens out my redness that I have on my face. It doesn't take it away altogether, but you'll see when I blend this in, it just kind of tones it down, so I don't feel like I have as much to cover with foundation. I also take a little bit of this on the side of my nose because I do get kind of red there as well. Okay, I let that one sit for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I took just a little bit of the Rare Beauty primer, like just that much, because I'm not applying this everywhere. I'm mainly applying it right here because this is where I have majority of pores, and then I put a little bit on my chin, but I mainly focused it right here. All right, for corrector, we used my Old Faithful Bobbi Brown, just the original, in the shade Bisque. You know, I try tons of correctors, and I have others that I do like, but this one, every time I go back to it, it reminds me of why I love it. It's just perfect. The color is perfect. It does exactly what I need it to do. And this is something I'll always have. I just kind of place it where I need it. And I'm using this little paddle brush, the A505 from BK Beauty. And I like this because I can really focus where I'm applying it. I also normally let my corrector sit for, I would say, like 60 seconds or so before I start tapping it in, just to make sure it really sticks and I get that coverage right where I applied it. And that's why I just kind of tap like this. I don't swipe or do anything like that, because if you do that, you'll shear it out, number one, and you'll move it around. We really don't want to move it. We just want to keep it right where we placed it, where we have the darkness. The foundation I was wearing in that video was NARS. Of course, you know how I feel about this one. I wear the shade Deauville. The literal only thing, I guess, somewhat negative I could say about this foundation is the pump is a little bit strange. Like one pump is not very much product, but then I always feel like 2 pumps is too much, but you can't, or I can't seem to do half a pump of that stuff. I don't know why. You can only press the pump down all the way. You can't like press it halfway. I don't know why that is, but that is literally the only negative thing I can think of. This foundation also does really well over those two primers that I use, which is good. You never know how certain products are gonna pair over other things sometimes, and when I used those two primers, this foundation went over the top really well. And then I always like to take my sponge and go over my face, and I use the sponge barely damp so it doesn't disrupt anything or pick up too much, but it will pick up anything that's just kind of sitting there on the surface. For concealer, I use the Dior Backstage in 2 Neutral. This was one of my 3 recommendations for the sale, with the Huda Beauty one and the Sephora Best Skin Ever. The other 2, the Huda and the Best Skin Ever, are medium full coverage. This one is solid medium coverage, but on the lighter side, if that makes sense. So that one has the least coverage. And I'm gonna use my Sigma brush, surprise, surprise, to blend this in. For bronzer, I used the Patrick Ta Duo in She Sculpted. I went in with the cream. I mentioned in that wish list video, I had not used my Patrick Ta Duo, the bronzer duo, in a little while. And when I was pulling things for that video, I just pulled it out, and oh my gosh, I forgot how good this also is. His formula, his products are just, they're just it for me. They're so good. These from Patrick Ta, these bronzer duos, I know they were out of stock for like months and months and months. I'm pretty sure they are all finally back in stock. For blush, also from Patrick Ta, I know, I love it. What can I say? I used the new blush palette from this year, and I used the pink color right here. The pink one in here is called Giving Flirty. And I just love this pink color. This is the one I've been reaching for the most lately since I got this palette. So I'm going in with the powder first, really lightly. This color, if you like pink blush, is just so pretty. It does have a little bit of shimmer in it though, so if that bothers you, this palette would definitely not be for you, because both the blushes have a little bit of sheen to them. And then I will take some of the cream, and sometimes I do this with a brush. The other day when I did it, I just used my sponge and just kind of dipped it in there, and then I kind of tap it off on the back of my hand, and I just kind of tap over the powder, and you get that really pretty skin finish that I personally love. I don't know, something about that pink color, I love it. And then I did also use the cream highlight in here. So this one right here, I don't really need any highlight, to be honest, because that blush is already pretty glowy, but I'm gonna apply just a little bit, and I actually used my finger and just kind of tapped it on. Not a ton, because like I said, the blush itself is already pretty glowy. Then I did set my face with some powder, and the first thing I did was I took the powder bronzer in that duo from Patrick Ta, and I basically went over the perimeters of my face with that. Definitely don't like have to do this, but I did like how it looked when I did it. So I just kind of went over where we put that cream bronzer, and then I did bring a little bit of it down my neck, and then I took my Kosas powder Another absolute favorite with a big fluffy brush. And I just kind of lightly went over my face with this. I used the big brush because I didn't want to like pack it on or anything. And then the last thing I did, and this was just very extra, I just wanted to do it for the video. I did use the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder in the number 3 color, so the pinky one. So I just went over my under eye with a sponge just to make sure I don't have any significant creasing, and I just put the powder right here. Kind of on this side of my nose also, because that is where, when I put sunglasses on, my makeup, if I have it there, always kind of rubs off. So I kind of put powder there, and then I just kind of brought whatever was left down right here. All right, so I filled in my brows and put on some eye primer. I didn't show that because it's kind of boring and you've seen me do it many, many times, but I used e.l.f. Brow Lift and CoverGirl brow pencil in my brows. And now for the eyes, the other day I used, again, the Patrick Ta palette. I promise I'm not sponsored by Patrick Ta. I wish I was, but I'm not. This is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 palette, and this is what I used for that video. I use my Major Dimension 1 the most, but I don't know, I was kind of feeling the pinky vibes this day. So I went in with this peach color right here, and I basically applied this all over. Kind of made sure to focus it in the crease, but I basically just kind of brushed this all over with a fluffy brush. Okay, then I went in with this next shade right here. It's kind of a mauve-y pinky color, and I used this cute little A502 from BK Beauty. It's a tiny little crease brush, but it's really good for your outer corner. And I just kind of applied a little bit of this here with my eye open and just kind of feathered it out here. Yeah, this little brush, especially if you have smaller eyes or you have hooded eyes, this little brush is really nice to have because it's small enough to get in and be a little more precise with your eyeshadow, but it's also kind of fluffy, so you can blend with it. It's just a really good brush to have. And then I'll just go back in with that original brush and kind of hold it on the very, very end and just feather around the edges. And then you could totally stop here for just an everyday look, but I did take this shade. This is probably my favorite shade in this palette. It's this pinky topper shade. I mean, look at this. If you like that wet lid look without actually making your lids wet, these toppers from the Patrick Ta palette are so good. So good. Another reason I wanted to set my under eyes with that powder was because these toppers can have a little bit of fallout because they don't feel chunky, but they definitely have a little bit of a larger shimmer texture to them. So you do sometimes get a little bit of fallout. That's really all I did on the eyes other than eyeliner, which we'll do in a second. I did take a little bit of both shades that we used, so the peach and then that mauve color. I took like just one little tap of both and brought that under my eyes. Then I did my soft little baby wing with the best eyeliner ever, the Charlotte Tilbury powder pencil. And I used the shade brown and basically start kind of in the center of my eye. And I literally get as close as I possibly can to the lash line. Like even try to kind of get in between like that. I personally only do half my eye because I feel like if you have more of a hooded eye, if you go all the way in, it can kind of close your eye off. So I do that first. I then keep my eye open and relaxed, and I use really light pressure to draw a little wing over the fold that I have there. And then I kind of connect the two lines. So I connect this line to this line, to the wing line is what I mean. And I do this super lightly because after I kind of get the shape there, I take the BK Beauty 208 brush and I go back over it to get my shape the way I want it. That's why I love using this particular eyeliner, because it's just easy to work with. If you make a mistake, it's easier to fix. It looks a lot more natural because it is a powder. I just love it. And if you make a mistake, you can fix it. Then I did take the Makeup by Mario pencil in the Perfect Brown, and I applied this in the waterline, but only on this outer half where we applied the eyeliner. For mascara, I used the Tower 28. This is a very, very good mascara, and I use the side that is more straight, so not the side that's pointing down right now. And I use that side to kind of apply it lightly, and then I'll take the curved side and use that to really get the tip of the lashes and really like push them upward. Yeah, so I kind of coat it and then I flip the brush over and I make sure I got the whole lash basically and kind of push them upward. And then for the lips, I used Pat McGrath Structure Lip Liner. Every time I use this, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the prettiest color lip liner for me. Then I took this Pat McGrath Lip Fetish Lip Shine in Nude Venus. The colors of those two together, oh my gosh. And then because I was extra and I had it sitting out, I took the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glow in Bare Glow. And I added just a little bit of that to the center of my lips. And that is pretty much it. Then I set my face with the Milk Spray. That is pretty much it, you guys. And this is the final look. This is the makeup I had on in the Sephora wishlist video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you were one of the ones that wanted to see this, I will definitely recreate this look again because I don't know, something about the combination of products, the colors, I'm just obsessed with it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I will list and link everything below as always. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you're following me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.